Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive into something pretty amazing, our body's very own cleaning crew. Yep, we're talking about the human excretory system. Let's jump right in. So get this for a second. Did you know your kidneys filter all of your blood about every 30 minutes? I mean, that's just wild, right? It's this non-stop cleaning process happening inside you right now. So how on earth does our body pull off this incredible feat? Well, let's find out. Okay, so think about your body like a super busy city. It's always working, right? And all that work, well, it creates waste. To keep everything running smoothly and stay healthy, we've got to have a way to get rid of all that junk. And that's exactly where our body's cleaning system comes into play. And the official name for this whole setup, it's the excretory system. Its job sounds simple, but trust me, it's absolutely crucial. It's all about removing harmful wastes and any extra fluids our body just doesn't need. You could almost call it our personal built-in water purification plant. So this system is basically a team of four. You've got a pair of kidneys, they're the main filters. Then you have a pair of ureters, which are kind of like transport tubes. Then there's the urinary bladder, which is the storage tank. And finally, the urethra. That's the exit. The path that waste takes, what we call urine, is actually a really straightforward one-way trip. It gets made in the kidneys, travels down the ureters, hangs out in the urinary bladder for a bit, and then boom, it's out through the urethra. Super organized, super efficient. Okay, now it's time to zoom in on the real stars of the show, the MVPs of this whole operation, the kidneys. These guys are the true powerhouses, doing all the heavy lifting of cleaning our blood 24/7. So what do they look like? Well, our kidneys are these reddish-brown, bean-shaped organs, and we've got two of them, kind of tucked away in our abdominal cavity, one on each side of our backbone. To give you an idea of size, each one is about 10 centimeters long. Here's a cool little fun fact for you. Our kidneys aren't actually perfectly level with each other. The right one sits just a little bit lower than the left one. So why is that? It's all because of the liver. The liver is our body's biggest internal organ, and it's on the right side. So it needs a bit of extra space, and it just kind of pushes that right kidney down a notch. Now, for the kidneys to do their job, they need a ton of blood flow, and that's handled by two major blood vessels. First, you have the renal artery. Think of it as the in pipe. It brings all the dirty blood, the blood with all the waste products, to the kidney to get cleaned. Then, once the job is done, the renal vein, the out pipe, takes the fresh, clean blood away from the kidney and back to the body. Okay, so if we could slice a kidney right down the middle, what would we see? Well, you'd notice two main areas. The outer layer is a bit darker, and that's called the cortex. Then the inner part is lighter in color, and that's the medulla. It's inside these two layers where all the real filtering magic goes down. All right, let's zoom in even more. We're going to go from looking at the whole organ down to the microscopic level, because that's where we meet the tiny little workers that make it all happen. And I mean tiny. But there are a lot of them. Are you ready for this number? Each one of your kidneys is packed with somewhere between 1 and 1.5 million of these tiny filters. That is an insane number of little cleaning stations all working in sync. So what are these little microscopic units called? They're called nephrons. And that mini cleaning station analogy, it's perfect. Each nephron is doing its own little part, and when you have millions of them working together, it's pretty clear why our kidneys are so darn good at cleaning our blood. So every single one of these nephrons has a few key parts. It all starts with the Bowman's capsule. You can picture it like a little collector cup. And sitting inside that cup is the glomerulus, which is just a tiny little ball of blood vessels. After that, whatever gets filtered travels through a whole series of winding tubes, the proximal tubule, the loop of Henle, the distal tubule, before it all ends up in the collecting duct. Okay, so we've met all the players. Now let's see them in action. Let's find out how this incredible little filtration factory actually gets the job done. You'll see, it's a really slick and effective process. It really breaks down into 4 simple steps. Step 1, blood rushes into that little ball of vessels, the glomerulus, and it's under pretty high pressure. Step 2, that pressure literally squeezes water and waste products out of the blood and into the Bowman's capsule. Step 3, now as that fluid moves through the tubes, the body is super smart. It reabsorbs all the good stuff it wants to keep, like glucose and some water. And finally, step 4, whatever's left over, all the waste and extra water, is now officially urine. Okay, so we've gone through a lot of tiny details, but why does any of this matter? Well, it's all about connecting the dots and seeing the big picture, how this whole system works to keep our entire body in balance and super healthy.
So let me ask you a quick question to get you thinking. We've talked about it a bunch, but why exactly is the nephron called the structural and functional unit of the kidney? What does that phrase actually mean?
Well, the answer is pretty straightforward when you think about it. The kidney's main job, its whole reason for existing, is to filter blood and make urine. And what actually does that job? The nephrons. Millions of them. So they're the functional unit because they do the work, and they're the structural unit because they're literally the building blocks that make up the kidney. They're the workers and the factory itself.
All right, and for any students watching, listen up. Here are some hot tips for your exams. You're definitely going to want to know the 4 main parts of the excretory system. For sure, be able to draw and label a nephron. You should also understand the inside of the kidney, that's the cortex and medulla. And finally, be able to explain the function of the nephron. If you can nail those 4 things, you'll be in fantastic shape. So let's wrap this up. If there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. Your kidneys are these incredible natural filters, working around the clock to clean your blood and keep everything inside you in perfect balance. It's a truly amazing system, and it deserves a ton of respect. Thanks so much for joining me.